And we are back here on the National Hour alongside Jeff. I'm Darius. It's great to have you joining us here on Buckeye TV, the National Hour. We've already talked some football. We're going to get into some baseball now. Got to talk about America's pastime and game that's been going on all summer. Jeff, the Dodgers, I don't know if you saw, they are en fuego. They are on fire. 77-54 right now. They had a stretch where they went 42-8.
Yeah, Darius breaking out the Spanish tonight, and for good reason. This Dodgers team, this is good, very good, and just absolutely downright scary good. And the Dodgers fall in that downright scary good category right now.
So one of the guys who really picked it up for them is a rookie, Yasiel Puig. He came in. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody really had a ton of buzz on him coming in. But as soon as he steps up, he starts hitting. And he did not stop. He's hitting .346 since he came up in June. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but like out of the blue, Yasiel Puig comes up and he's putting these, it's like video game numbers here for the Dodgers. And with a little bit of help, he had Clayton Kershaw and company. No wonder this team's winning so many of their games. And it's like they went from a team that was pretty much dead in the NL West at a point like May-ish to now this team very well could be a World Series contender.
And now, I mean, some of the other guys, some of the older guys who are on the team, Adrian Gonzalez, who's only been on the team a couple of years, he's been doing a good job. 294, 81 RBI leading the team. But Hanley Ramirez, who they got from the Marlins, he has been crushing it, hitting .338 up there with Yasiel Puig, and he's been playing for the majority of the season as well. So he's one of the batting leaders in the NL. I mean, those two guys, Puig and Ramirez, are tearing the cover off the ball, Jeff.
Absolutely. It's almost like the Dodgers during that whole Marlins liquidation when they were just unloading every single person on that team. They pick up Hanley Ramirez, and it's like that was like an absolute steal. When you said 338, 14 homers, and 43 RBIs, you got that in Puig's 30, then Gonzalez has 81. Run support's not a problem for Clayton Kershaw, or anybody on that pitching staff. If you just pitch a decent game, the hits and the runs are going to come.
And oh, by the way, they have two of the best pitchers in baseball. They have Zach Greinke and Clayton Kershaw, who looks like he might win another Cy Young this year. He has a 1.72 ERA. He has been killing.
Dirty. Downright dirty, Clayton Kershaw. And I can't just explain this team. It's speechless. You just don't come up here and say this. You take like 43 or 50 games. It just doesn't sound right. But now it's like it's for real right now.
Well, you know what it really is. I mean, this team is finally making it pay off. I mean, remember the 2012 sprinting spree?
Absolutely.
You get Adrian Gonzalez, get guys like Carl Crawford from the Red Sox. They spend all the money. Now they're finally winning.
Yeah.
Clayton Kershaw looks like he's going to win another Cy Young. And oh, by the way, their MVP would have been the MVP from a couple years ago behind Ryan Braun, Matt Kemp. He hasn't even played for the majority of the season. He's a Triple Crown threat, and he's out hurt. Imagine what they'll be like when they get him back.
They get Kemp ready for going into the postseason time. This team, they could sweep their way into the World Series and very well sweep to win the World Series. It's just, Mattingly, he's put this team together, and he's controlled the talent and Puig, Gonzalez, Ramirez, and when Kemp comes back, I mean, if Kemp, it's amazing. I mean, this team is just so on fire, and really Mattingly's job was on the line at one point. You're thinking he's not going to make it. Now it's like he's going to make it and probably will walk out of the season with the World Series ring or before he leaves LA.
Yeah, well, Don Mattingly, who was a batting coach with the Yankees, played with the Yankees, and the hitting guru, his job is now safe. Speaking of the Yankees and great hitting, Ichiro, he recently, not 3,000, he got 4,000 hits in his professional career. He is 38 years old. He's been playing between Japan and the U.S., played his first few seasons overseas over in Japan, came over to the U.S. in 2001 with Seattle, and he started hitting, and he's never stopped.
I grew up, my favorite player growing up was Ichiro. It's like when I saw he got the 4,000, I'm like, it felt like I was a part of that 4,000. It's like the guy I grew up with, he's done it. 4,000, only two other guys who did it were Cobb and Pete Rose, and they did it with all 4,000, with their 4,000 MLB, but just to get 4,000. I mean, I played Little League Baseball for a couple of years. I got like 2 hits. He's got like 4,000. He's taking on grade 8 talent.
I'm saying like from like the 5 years that I played, between the batting cages, between soft toss, between just taking the field, I don't think I had 4,000 hits in all of that.
It's just so spectacular, and he's not done yet. I mean,
he's not really
the rate
aging
he's
either.
playing right now.
Right.
4 or 5 more years, he can get maybe 500-600 more hits. I mean, we've not heard the last of Ichiro. Even though he left Seattle, he's found a new home in New York.
Right. Ichiro's closing in on 3,000 in his MLB career, obviously over 4,000 in his professional career. Big numbers there. Now, Ichiro, he is hitting the ball, doing great with that. NL Central, we got to get to some hitting in there. There's been some great offense going on with these teams. St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, the hometown teams. I mean, this division race is going to be fun, Jeff. The last month, September, coming up on us. And it's just 3.5 games, 3.5 games separating those three teams.
I mean, no team. These between St. Louis, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati. St. Louis's lead is not safe. I mean, Pittsburgh, they had the bullseye for the most of the season, and now they're in second, but they're only a half game back. That's not like they're 5 or 6 or 10 back. It's just you beat St. Louis once, or St. Louis stumbles in 2 games, and Pittsburgh wins 2. They're right back in the driver's seat. But then Cincinnati, they're also nipping at the heels of Pittsburgh, 3.5 back. You get hot for 4 or 5 games, now you're back in the chase for number 1.
Right.
And really, I think in that central race, going into the playoffs, one of those teams, they do not want to be in that wild card position. You put so much in, and you're a wild card, you're going to have to play another team from your own conference in that 1-game playoff.
Of course, yeah, the playoff with the wild card now, it's a 1-game play-in for the 2 wild card teams play each other, and then they play the team with the best record in their league. So it would be probably either Atlanta or the Dodgers at this point, depending on who finishes the season stronger. And it's going to be like all 3 of those teams getting in, but now the question is what order? It's St. Louis, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati right now, but what do you think? What do you think they finish?
I think this is looking at the raw experience. I think St. Louis is it's not going to be like a 5-6 game. I don't think Cincinnati or Pittsburgh, they're not going to collapse. We can get over that right now. But I think St. Louis, this team, especially what they did to my Nationals last year, where they pulled a whole rally and all that fun stuff late. This team knows how to win when it matters, and I imagine going down that final week, 2 weeks of the season, this team is going to be next to unstoppable. Yeah,
it should be fun to see what happens. By the way, the last time Pittsburgh made the playoffs, 1992. I was born that year, so it's been a minute since Pittsburgh.
George Bush Sr. was the president.
It's been a while since Pittsburgh was in the playoffs.
It's been a long time.
Now, going from teams in the NL Central right now to a team who used to be in the NL Central, they're now in the AL West, that would be the Houston Astros. So get this, the Houston Astros, going into the year, they were chosen to lose 100 games. They were predicted to lose 100 games. That's unthinkable, that you would predict that for any team. They are, Jeff, the most profitable team in baseball.
What there is?
They're the most profitable team in baseball. The team that at one point this season was on pace to lose those 100 games they were predicted to lose, and a team that is not that great. They have $99 million in profit, most in Major League Baseball.
I mean, that is just, but then it's hard to believe, but it's not hard to believe because look at what their payroll is. There's no Albert Pujols, there's no Clayton Kershaw, there is no A-Rod.
Their best player is a 5'5" second baseman, Jose Altuve.
There is no guy making buku dollars for Houston, but I think that's part of the thing. And fans are showing up to at least seeing the games. It's like, why fix when it's not broken?
I mean, Houston has been supporting this team, but now you get into the question of, is this bad for sports? Because you see Houston making money, the ownership making money. The fans are not speaking out on this terrible team on the field. So the owners are like, okay, if they're not going to say anything and we're making money, let's keep it going.
Yeah, they're not going to stop it, but I think there will be a point where fans are going to go, okay, look, I get that we're making a lot of money, but I want to root for a team that can make the playoffs.
What does it mean for a fan that your team is the most profitable team in baseball? That means nothing.
Really, you're right, Darius. It means nothing. It just says, hey, we're not spending money to win games. We're trying to just make it through here. I mean, like,
yeah, we're putting money in the bank. Yay.
Yeah, I mean that the fans. I mean, if I'm a fan, that's happening. It's just like I got to pay. I don't want to be the laughingstock when I go to work or in the hallway going to school and stuff. It's just like your team has lost 82 games right now. My team's lost like 40. It's not good for the fans, but eventually the fans are going to turn their back on Houston.
All right, so we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to have some more college football for you. We're going to talk Terrell Pryor and Johnny Manziel on the other side of this break. You're watching the National Hour here on Buckeye TV.